Hi, everybody. It's Joe Chaffee, and we're going to take a look at the weather here on the long-range map. I'm going to roll it back to the beginning there, and you can see the ridge off the southeast coast that's setting us up for record highs tomorrow. But the changes that will be occurring across the Arctic are continuing to evolve, and we're seeing this is our storm system that's going to be lifting up to our west. There's a ridge ahead of it here. This is that high that builds up into New England, feeds down a shot of cold air Monday and Monday night into Tuesday, which we've discussed in the short range with regard to ice for the interior Northeast. And that lifts out. Now, right up there is that Scandinavian block that we've been talking about. And you can see how we're just going to back it up. As we move into next week, that ridge really builds very strongly and then extends itself across Siberia. Now, at the same time, we'll focus back down here in eastern Canada, and you start to see this vortex here that was up in the Arctic begins to shift a little further to the south and starts to bring the jet stream down, and we have this northwest flow, pretty strong northwest flow. It's a nice little vortex that forms here east of Hudson's Bay as we move through next week and beyond. I just want to show you that date is for next Saturday, and there's a very deep broadening trough here in the eastern states, bringing down some colder air from Canada. Now, the axis of the trough looks like it's right along the coast, so we're going to have to see if this winds up actually being there or if it winds up being a little further west or a little further to the east. But there's that Scandinavian block again, and pressures are rising across the Arctic as we go through the first week of January. The trough for New Year's weekend lifts out, but we still have a pretty strong northwest flow. You see the southern part of the jet stream is pretty active with weather systems coming in, but it's hard to see whether they're going to piece together with something in the north or not. You won't see anything along those lines until we get much closer to the time frame. But all through here is all changing, and this is where we've been focusing our attention on. And all the models are showing this to varying degrees of strength. The European is showing it quite strongly, and that's encouraging for the pattern change. And as we go through the end of the period, you can see here the pressures here have risen considerably all through the Arctic region. We have an established northwest flow. We have a little vortex that's down in Hudson's Bay. There's colder air coming into the United States. It should at least bring us down to seasonal. There's no ridge building in the east, so that precludes any more record highs. But the ridge now in the western states, so they're getting a break from that long pattern that we've had with the deep troughs in the west and the strong ridges in the east. So all the changes that we have been talking about, this slow grinding process just continues. And I'm just going to switch. This was the GFS. I'm going to switch to the ensembles from today because that's at least giving us the idea when we look at all the different model members. And this particular one, we'll roll it back to the very beginning and let it load as it does so. It's very encouraging when you see all the ensemble members doing the same sort of thing as the other models are doing, and this is good. So here you have the big Scandinavian block, and it just basically takes over most of the Arctic region, and you have a vortex that forms right here in northernmost Canada and begins to drop down into eastern Canada, making for colder air. Not terribly cold, but certainly colder than where we've been, and at the very least, I would think we would be back to normal here in the long term. So lots going on, and we'll have a separate video with regards to the short range situation for early next week.